Hello, team players. The Dwarf is an iconic race in TTRPGs, and unlike in D&D 5e, in Pathfinder they actually have some pretty cool options. But which ones are the best for teamwork in this system? Let's start with level 1 and Explosive Savant, and by extension, Explosive Experts. While this does have the access requirement of being from Dogenhold or Algenstar, if your GM allows you to take this feat, it's pretty awesome, especially if you have an alchemist in the party that can hand out bombs, or you can make your own bombs. This allows you to be trained in bombs no matter what class you are, since they're treated as simple weapons. You can also get martial firearms, but that's not as important, as bombs can do pretty much every type of damage in the game. This means whether the enemy is resistant to certain damage types or not, you'll be able to do pretty good damage to them, even if you're something like a cleric who might not have a lot of damage types available to them normally. Let's not forget about enemy weaknesses either. It's also kind of cool to be able to use a gun no matter what class too. Explosive Expert just gives you more proficiency with these weapons when you gain higher proficiency in other weapons. Not great for all classes, but definitely can be for certain ones. If you want to use these weapons on any class, you want to be a dwarf and take these feats. Then we have Rock Runner, which allows you to ignore difficult terrain and uneven ground made of stone and earth. It also allows you to balance on uneven surfaces without being off guard. And if you get a critical success on that acrobatics check you need to do that, you get a critical success instead. This can be very helpful when supporting your allies. Dwarfs may be slow, but this can help you get to your allies in order to use certain effects such as buff spells that are touch range, without having to take something like Reach Spell. But what really sets this feat apart is that you need it to take the feat I'll talk about next, which is Boulder Roll. This allows you to step into a square of a foe that is your size or smaller, and the foe must step into the square directly behind it, even if doing so puts it in harm's way. You can make a Fortitude save, which is a Constitution save for those of you that are coming from D&D 5e, against your Athletics DC in order to block the step. But unless they critically succeed, they're taking bludgeoning damage. However, if the foe can't move, like if it's surrounded by solid objects or creatures, this feat has no effect. This one is fantastic because you can push enemies into hazards in the environment, or even better, right into a flanking position for your allies, or yourself, or even away from ranged attackers such as spellcasters. Great way to move enemies towards where you want them to be. Dwarven Reinforcement is fantastic for any character wanting to use a shield. By spending 1 hour working, you can increase the hardness of an object or structure for 24 hours. The bonus depends on your proficiency in crafting. You can get up to +3 if you're legendary in the crafting skill. This is great for shields because hardness determines how much less damage you and the shield takes when you use the shield block actions. And dwarves make excellent champions, clerics, and druids, all of which can use shields very effectively, especially champions. At level 9, we have a really good feat in Mountain Stoutness. It can get you some huge HP for your class if you use it right. It is essentially the Toughness general feat, giving you hit points equal to your level and also easier checks to recover from dying. It also stacks with the actual toughness feats, and general feats are usually some of the best feats in the entire game. So getting an answer to your feat that is basically one of the best ones and stacks with the feat it is emulating is absolutely amazing. There's also Echoes in Stone. You have to be standing on a stone or earthen surface to use this feat, but luckily, you will be about 75% of the time. For one action, you gain Tremor Sense with a range of 20 feet. It is imprecise, so you won't know exactly where creatures are, but you'll have an idea, and that's what's important. But you do have to spend an action to activate this. But it can be extremely helpful when you need to find creatures, especially if they're trying to hide from the party. Very, very helpful. Caloric Power is another fantastic one. When making melee strikes, if you and your target are standing on the same earth or stone surface, you get a damage bonus. Won't be able to use it in all situations, but you will with a lot of them, just like Echoes in Stone. At level 13, there is March in the Mines. You gain a burrow speed of 15 feet while using this 2-action activity. You can choose to stride or burrow twice. An ally who's adjacent to you at the start of their movement can move with you. They end their movement 1 square behind you. This is basically 2 sudden charges but without the strike. Also, it means your ally does not have to move on their turn, freeing up their action economy to do something else on their turn. It's a great teamwork option. And then at level 17 we have Stone Gates. While it does require Stone Walker to use, it is a fantastic feat that should be considered. It allows you to cast 7th rank magic passage once per day, but only to open passages in stone and earth. But because it is 7th rank, you can very easily use it to hide and avoid encounters. Or the rogue can use it as a hiding place to jump out and get their sneak attack, since it lasts for an hour. Also, it's big enough that basically the entire party can hide in there effectively, assuming you only have 4 people. And you can make it so only the party can enter. And you can even hide items in there as long as you take them out before the spell ends. Fantastic feat, highly recommended if you get this far. Now let's talk classes for dwarves. Really, any class can benefit from what dwarves have to offer, but I would not recommend any class that needs charisma. Dwarves do not make good sorcerers or summoners, for example. But if you're looking for specific classes that dwarves are good for, there are a few. Of course, we have the iconic dwarven cleric, which are especially good in Pathfinder because of all the toughness that dwarves get access to, especially for the War Priest or Battle Harbinger clerics. And clerics no longer need charisma for extra healing spells, so you don't have to worry about that. They also make great druids, as druids don't really need charisma either, and the toughness that dwarves have can really help them as well. And dwarves are very teamwork oriented. You can use any ancestry for teamwork, but the dwarf is very easy for you to use for teamwork in any party. The dwarf also makes a good fighter or ranger. Dwarves have a couple of feats that help with damage, and getting that on a fighter that already does massive damage, or on a ranger who can attack so many times, is a big deal. There's also the champion. Dwarven toughness makes them even tankier than they already are, with dwarven reinforcements to help with their shield is an immense help. And then there's the kineticist. There are very few ancestries that get constitution automatically to start, and with very good reason. It is generally hard to use constitution boost to help out a character, except for the kineticist. Obviously, you can always take it as your free boost, but getting it automatically is pretty cool. Also, earth and even metal kineticists are very thematic for dwarves. You get all these feats that work with stone and metal for being a dwarf, and then you get even more for being a kineticist. It's a big deal. And if you guys are interested in another video, I've got one for you right here. And be sure to check out the description below for more ways to support me as a creator. And remember guys, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.